Hi there. I'm going to be doing a single eyeshadow declutter. I hold on to these. I always say I'm going to reach for them more, and even when I do, I can't reach for every single one. And some of these colors are not unique to my eyeshadow collection, so I need to be realistic about what is actually making me happy to have and which ones are kind of just sitting there. I'm filming with some slightly different settings today, mainly because every time I try to film overhead like this, I have a lot of trouble getting it to focus right. So hopefully some of the adjustments I've made will work and make this better to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of these out and sort them into categories by color, mostly by color and maybe also by finish. And before we start, I did want to mention I do have some singles in this Lethal palette, and this was a custom palette that I made, and I love all of these. I'm definitely keeping all of these, so I'm not going to include them as part of this. Okay, I turned on my ring light to make these a little bit more true to color. So everything I keep will go into this palette, and then everything I declutter will go into this Z palette. And I will find a use or a good home for anything I do declutter. Okay, let's start with this one here in the center. This is from Tarte, and I believe it's called Rebel. And I used to love these sorts of colors, this like burgundy shimmer here. I do have it in other palettes. Let me show you. I do have a very similar shade called Enchantress from the Arcana palette from Shroud Cosmetics. So I do feel comfortable passing this one on. And same with this one here. I think this is also a Tarte single. This is, I believe it's called Dark Seas. I don't know if Tarte even sells these anymore. And I did hit pan on it, but I do have another shade like that, again from the Arcana palette in the shade Mystic. And I believe I have another one. Yeah, and I also have this blue here too. And I'm gonna reach for one of those over this one, so I can also pass this one on. As for all of these yellows down here, I don't need every single one. I have a yellow in my Limoncello palette. I also have one in the Geodes palette too, right here. And so I don't need this bright yellow. I think this is a NYX single. And yeah, I don't think I need this one either. This is Tiki from ColourPop. This one here in Paper Tiger, I'm gonna put that in like a maybe corner over there, just because I'm not sure. And then this one here, this is Issues by ColourPop. I did really like this. This is a beautiful transition shade, so I'm gonna keep this one. And this one here, I don't believe I have anything like that in my collection, nothing that's coming to mind. And I did used to really love this, especially in the summer. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite shade anymore, but I do still want to keep it. And then this here is sort of part of that category. This is a duochrome, I believe it's from Clionadh in the shade Prophecy. This is a gorgeous, stunning shade. Definitely holding on to that one. This orange one, let's see if I have another one like it in my collection. There might be an orange. Yeah, there's this orange here. I don't know if it's as orange. It's a little bit darker, but yeah, that's fine. I can hold on to Alter from that shade and pass this on. This is Morocco from Makeup Geek. I have this one left, Paper Tiger. I think I can pass this one on too. I definitely have other yellows I can reach for. So far, I have 6 shadows that I'm decluttering and 3 that I'm keeping. That feels good. Let's look at some shades that I know I'm keeping. Definitely Ripple here from Clionadh. This is one of their glitter multi-chromes, I think. I love this shade. Stunning. Definitely keeping that. And I also have 2 shades here from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. These are just such beautiful shades. This is Blue Jeans and this is Pretty Little Lilac. I love these colors. I really love the formula too. These are super pigmented. They also make beautiful nail polishes. Definitely keeping these. This other bigger pan here from Clionadh, this is the shade Emerald. I don't think they make this anymore. And this has definitely shattered. Like there's probably half of the product left in there. This is so pretty. It's almost like a lime green, keeping that. And then this one here, this one I'm not sure. It's Clairvoyance, and this is a really pretty color, but is it a color I'm gonna wear? Let me see if I have anything like it in my collection. I probably don't. Honestly, when it comes to blues like that, I do tend to prefer the lighter blues. So this one from Lethal, you see how it has that blue tint to it, but it's not a 100% blue shade. I tend to prefer shades like that. And then I do have a shade that's kind of along those lines from the LH Cosmetics Shimmer Saga. And that one also, it has like a blue base to it, if you can see that way. But it has other things about it that make it not just straight up blue. I think my mom would really love this shade. She wears colors like this every single day. So I'll pass this one on to her. Another one I definitely want to keep is this duochrome here from Makeup Geek. It's in the shade Phantom. And this one doesn't look like anything in the pan, but it has a purple shift to it. And I love using this on the inner corner and on the lower lash line. I'm wearing it today. Anytime I want to take my makeup up a notch with a little bit of purple in the inner corner, I reach for this. I have a huge pan in it. Definitely keeping. It's gonna get harder because these sort of like earthy, ashy tones I tend to reach for and like a lot. So these ones might be a little bit harder to part ways with, which is fine. If I don't want to part ways with it, I won't. I have a matte here in Petal Pusher from Makeup Geek. I've just worn it so much. I really love this color. This is like a perfect crease shade for me. And I would like to hold on to it and maybe pan it someday. And one thing I like about these two green olive mattes is that they help round out other greens I have in my collection. For example, I have the Juicy Olive palette from Give Me Glow, and I love these colors, but sometimes I want something a little more khaki, maybe to build the look or soften it. And so this is Ivy League from Sydney Grace. And this is a really great crease shade. And then same with this one. So when I want something brighter, more specifically green, I can reach for this. And then if I want to tone it down, I can reach for these. And vice versa. If I'm creating a olive green look and I want to punch it up, I have this palette. All right, another dupe here. This is Goody Two Shoes from ColourPop. And I prefer the shade from the Arcana palette. This is Nocturnal. So this one here is the one from the Arcana palette, and then this is Goody Two Shoes. They are so similar. This one is just slightly more purple, and I have it in a palette already, so I don't need to keep Goody Two Shoes. All of these greenish blue shades here, this one, I think these two, yeah, both of these are from Cleona. This is Morgana, and this is Rune. Love these. And then these three are all from Sydney Grace. This one is Chameleon, Red Chameleon. Has like a red base to it. This one is Keep It Fun. And then this one is Dive. Yeah, Dive. And yeah, they are kind of similar, but I love all of them. Yeah, they're just all really special and pretty, and I like them. So I'm going to keep all 5 of these. Okay, this one I had considered panning, like going back and forth and considered panning it. This is from Tarte. I believe it's in the shade Trance. Same with this one. Okay, this is the one that I thought I would pan. And this is Starry Eyed by Makeup Geek. These are both really pretty, but they are not unique by any means. I don't need to keep these. I have these in palettes 5 times over. This one is an ABH single in the shade Macaroon. And I swatch it and I'm like, oh, this is so pretty. This is so unique. But like, I don't need this. I don't need it. I have tons of shades like this. In fact, I have one from the Monsoon palette that I like even better, and it's the shade Humidity. I have some staining on my arm, but that's the one from the Desert Monsoon palette, and then this is the one from ABH. The one from the What's Up palette just has more oomph to it, so I can pass on Macaroon. Let's look at these purples really quick. And the shade here, again, this is from ABH, also in the shade Morocco. It's very similar to Morocco from Makeup Geek. Morocco from Makeup Geek is just a little bit more orange. But I already duped the shade with the Arcana palette, so I can pass this one on. Now let's look at these 3 purples. You can add this one in there too. I just feel like I have so many shades like that already. Like these 2 shades, I don't think I need both of these, you know? One is Howlin' by ColourPop, the other one is Haven by Sydney Grace. The Sydney Grace one is just a better formula, I prefer it, so I'm going to keep this one and pass on Howlin' from ColourPop. So this shade is 143 from ColourPop, and I wasn't originally going to declutter it, but I was going through all of my eyeshadows and I don't actually have a dupe for this. I don't have it anywhere else in my palette, so this does fill a need. And I do reach for these purples. I just wore this with a bunch of my lilac lavender shadows in a video recently. And I love it because if I want to go like pinky mauve, instead of just putting a regular brown in the look to deepen it, I can add a purple and it'll still stay vibrant, but won't take away from the mauve pink undertones of the shadows. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. But these ones, I feel like I do have these in a lot of palettes, but the reason I have them in a lot of palettes is because I love them and I wear them all the time. Like I'm wearing some sort of shade like this in virtually every look I create. This one here is special enough. This is like a dusty, very, very light purple, great crease shade. This is from Sydney Grace in the shade Winter Wonder. This is unique and I reach for it a lot, so I'm keeping this one. Is this light enough to be like a lid setting shade? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to this one as a lid setting shade. I go through these pretty regularly. I'm finishing one up from ColourPop from the It's Gone Coconuts palette right now, and I will need a new one to replace it, so I'll replace it with this one. Is this one also light enough to use? Yeah, but do I need both? The reason I kept those two is because they were left over from this big palette declutter I did, and I saved just these from all the ColourPop palettes that I had that had pans this size. I just pulled all my favorite shades from like the 4 palettes I had. And I kept those 2 shades because I figured I could like replace these once I got low on these shades. I could just replace them, they'd be the right size. I don't know, yeah, I'd still like to keep it. And it is light enough as a lid setting shade, so I could get to it eventually. Now for these, I mean, I definitely have those shades. I definitely have a similar shade in this ColourPop Travel palette. And then I have this like reddish crease shade from the What's Up Geode palette. I have this pinkish warm shade, like a couple of these I could easily replicate. And then of course I do have a lot of shades that are similar from this palette. I'll keep Warm Taupe from ABH for now. Definitely gonna keep this one from Sydney Grace in the shade Predictable, and I'll pass on Dusty Rose. All right, this is where it's gonna get tough. I really like shades like this where they're, you know, light, they're brightening, but they have like a little shift to them, a little something special. Okay, this one from this is Glassable from ColourPop. I do have a lot of really pretty shades just like this one. Just in my Lethal Cosmetics palette alone, I can find shades that I think perform better than Glassable. So I'll pass on Glassable. This is, I think, one of those singles from Tarte. I never wear this. It's gorgeous though. Oh. And then this is Metal from ABH, and it's like a beautiful pale gold. And then this is Arcana from Cleona Cosmetics. That is gorgeous. Yeah, keeping that. And same with this one. This is Aqua Vitae. It's the same, but it's like a little bit more yellowy aqua. This is Filigree. It's really pretty too. I love when they're super brightening like that. And then this one is Peace. Yeah, these are all so beautiful and special. I'm keeping all of them. I thought I'd get rid of more, but the only one I got rid of was Glass Bull. Can I get all these to fit in here? I can put like the big ones in here and then keep this for like all the other ones. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'm keeping 29 and I'm getting rid of 15. So I think that's like a third of my singles collection. I'm really glad I was able to find duplicates for a lot of these shades in my palettes, because that means I'm much more likely to actually reach for them. And then the shades that I have here are special and unique, and a lot of them are formulas I have used for a long time and really love. Some of these I can actually see myself panning, which is very cool. So yeah, I feel really good about this. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I'm gonna wash all these swatches off and ogle at my new beautiful palette full of singles that are very special to me. I do have a full collection declutter video that I just put out a few weeks ago. It's like 45 minutes long, so if you want more decluttering content, I have that video. Plus I also have a declutter series playlist of all the declutters I've done over the past 6 years or so. So if you'd like more content like that, I definitely have it available. But that's everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope it gave you motivation to maybe go into your single eyeshadows if you have them and give them a little bit more love and attention. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next